Welcome back, everybody. My name's Token D Rock. Hopefully, everyone is having a good day. Overall, crypto market cap is sitting in a very similar position as it was yesterday. It's sitting right at $1.6 trillion. Bitcoin is above 40K. That's very good to see. Luna's cooled off a bit. Overall, the crypto market cap is very much in the same place it was 24 hours ago. Bitcoin dominance is at 42.8%, and Ethereum dominance at 17.7%. Looking at the Bitcoin minute chart, we can see that the RSI bands are indicating Bitcoin is overbought right here, along with over here and right over here. So we may see some downside movement in the short term. That's not to say the bulls can't bring it back above 41.7 or even above 40,800. Looking at the bigger picture, again, the bulls are in that resistance band between roughly 39.7 and 40,800. We'll see if they break through. Overall, we are looking at ascending triangle for Bitcoin. Really invalidated this green trend line that we have in place right here. As you can see, back on March 13th, we dipped below the trend line, but then the very next day we drove right back above it. So as of right now, that trend line is looking pretty good, and it's shaping to be an ascending triangle. Again, kind of theorizing what Bitcoin may or may not do here in the short term. We could see Bitcoin go up and then go here. That would be like the less bullish scenario. And then the more bullish scenario would be if it were to break past this line of resistance right here at 45.5, because as you can see, the bulls have struggled to break past this line of resistance ever since they lost sight of that band of support back in early January and been able to put in a daily candle above there. So not looking too good, but things could look very good here in the next few days depending on the news. And then a more bearish scenario would be Bitcoin puts in a higher low than this, but a lower high compared to these, wicks up to 45.5, and we go back and retest this line of support down at 32.8, and then maybe that serves as a double bottom, and then maybe we rally from there or something like that. That's another scenario that could be in the cards, and then could go all the way up here and then actually get rejected all the way down to this lower point. And that can happen considering we still have the war going on over in Ukraine, Russia advancing, making territorial gains over the country of Ukraine. China were to announce that they want to back Russia with military equipment or stuff like that, it could send the markets tumbling a bit further. So we just have to keep that in mind. Looking at some stuff as to why Bitcoin is on the rise. Well, look at this. Here's a use case. Buying a car with Bitcoin in Ukraine because there's no banks or ATMs open.
The legendary car. There's zero, or it's very hard to get money at the moment, so we found someone that actually would sell us a car with Bitcoin. We're in central Ukraine at the moment, and we basically have to get west as fast as possible, so we might end up having to ditch this, but at this point it's actually the fastest, safest, quickest way for us to get the fuck out of here.
And it'll be a great story for the future, buying a car in Bitcoin when there's no cash, not having enough fuel to get there, but so it's going to try and fill up water bottles with fuel because no one will let you fill up jerry cans.
See, isn't that crazy? Like, these people over in Ukraine, they don't seem to be natives. They seem to be foreign. They seem to be from like the UK or some sorts, maybe Australian even. I'm not the best on accents or anything like that, but these people can't even go to the bank and withdraw funds and stuff like that. So they have to rely solely on Bitcoin. With more and more countries turning to CBDCs, citizens are going to be put between a rock and a hard place. Do I just go along with everything and go with the CBDC? I'm only limited to use it at this location, that location for XYZ product or good or service. You're very constrained, and the CBDCs are like the next step in constraining as to what you can and can't do with fiat currency. So again, Bitcoin's use case is on the rise. Bitcoin as a whole is on the rise. Look at this. Here we have David Friedberg. He's the Metromile founder and chairman. Listen to what he has to say.
There does seem to me today to be real utility in Bitcoin, particularly as you see these actions with taking entire countries and banking systems off SWIFT and effectively canceling chunks hunks of the global economy and global trade, and Bitcoin itself at that point becomes a safe haven. And this has been something that many folks have kind of, screamed would happen one day for years. And, Bitcoin has largely kind of, been this theoretical in that construct. But now I think we can see the utility of Bitcoin playing out in that construct. So much money that's gone into Bitcoin that has been built around the speculative bet. And so we're seeing that money come out as people are de-risking portfolios. So the price of Bitcoin, to me, feels a little bit depressed, but I don't know what the right price is, but I do see the utility of Bitcoin over time really playing out in this context of deglobalization. I just think deglobalization is the big bet of the next 5 to 10 years.
I like it. I full-heartedly agree. I mean, we're seeing full countries of citizens being banned from using particular bank services, whether it's in Ukraine where you can't withdraw money, or whether it's over in Russia where people are running to the banks in droves, hundreds of people waiting outside the bank trying to access their funds to get their money out and put into something tangible, something that's not going to depreciate like crazy in value or get inflated like the ruble. The ruble, for example, over in Russia inflated over 30% or lost over 30% of its value in less than 2 weeks' time. So I think Bitcoin, again, we're going to see an increasing use of it. And look, over in Ottawa, for example, they have not ended the mandates pertaining to C-19. The federal government is holding fast to virtually every restriction as imposed during the pandemic, with BC's announcement last week that it would be phasing out mask and medical procedure mandates. All 10 provinces have now set an effective end date to their treatment of C-19 as a public health emergency by April 27th, the date when Ontario's pandemic restrictions from becoming the last to expire. Mask, medical procedure, and physical distancing mandates will effectively cease to exist in Canadian daily life, except according to Ottawa, even as each week yields the end of another provincial COVID mandate, the federal government is continuing to hold fastly every restriction as imposed over the course of the now 2-year pandemic. Medical procedure remains mandatory for any Canadian over the age of 12 looking to board an aircraft, even if it's a domestic flight. Transport Canada is also continuing to mandate masking aboard flights and its airports. Government employees remain barred to anyone who can't provide proof of medical procedure, even to employees who are teleworking or working remotely, according to official guidelines. While the federal government dropped the requirement for travelers who took the medical procedure to arrange a $150 PCR test in order to enter Canada, crossing the border still remains subject to a raft of pandemic restrictions. So as you can see, restrictions are still going on in Canada, at least in Ottawa, over C-19. This guy, this dictator, if you want to call him, this authoritarian, literally froze people's bank accounts for donating as little as $20 to some peaceful protesters who were demanding the end to mandates, whether it be medical procedure cards, green passes, mask mandates, etc., digital ID. They were all against it, and this guy was freezing people's bank accounts because they stood in opposition to what he wanted to instill in his country. Again, rise of Bitcoin, okay? People are seeing their bank accounts being frozen. All right, well, you just gave another reason as to why people may look towards Bitcoin, because why am I going to leave my money in a bank where it can be confiscated or frozen? My assets can be frozen by centralized government and power, wherever you may be. In this case, Canada. Over in Europe and Asia, you have Ukraine and Russia. China, to some extent, they have the CBDC digital yuan. Again, social credit score. This is where we are headed, you guys, and Bitcoin is going to be a way out of that. These people that want to escape Ottawa, they may be very likely to adopt Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So I think Bitcoin and crypto, again, is on the rise. Look at this. Saudi Arabia mulls pricing of China oil sales and yuan. The move would be a challenge to the US dollar, which has dominated as the medium of exchange for oil trade for decades. Systems that have been in place for decades starting to crumble. This isn't going to happen overnight, but look at this. Saudi Arabia is in discussions with Beijing Asia about pricing some Saudi oil sales to China in yuan instead of dollars, according to Wall Street Journal report. This sort of arrangement has been ongoing for several years, but recent events have brought a new urgency to talks. According to the report, which says the Saudis are questioning long-standing U.S. security commitments to the kingdom. Among the issues are what the Saudis believe to be less than enthusiastic support for the war in Yemen, the White House's attempt at an Iranian nuclear deal, and shock at the American withdrawal from Afghanistan. The report said China is a buyer of more than 25% of Saudi Arabia's export oil, according to the story. The news would seemingly be of interest to the Bitcoin and gold markets, but for now there's little reaction, with the price of Bitcoin staying in the mid 38,000 area and gold remaining lower by 2.1% for the day at $1,900 roughly per ounce. Nonetheless, it shows you that Saudi Arabia is pivoting itself to potentially, instead of petrodollar being the US dollar, in the future it could be the yuan. You know, again, these countries like Russia, China, India, they're positioning themselves, aligning themselves in a way to stand up against the Western hegemony that is the US, UK, NATO, all of its members and stuff. Again, we're going to see two parallel economies, and individuals or citizens from all across the globe that do not want to partake in these parallel economies or be fixated on one, stuck in one, you know, they can transact between the two. Bitcoin is the gold right there, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you think the adoption of the digital yuan for some oil sales between Saudi Arabia and China, do you think it's a significant development? Do you think the petrodollar is going to collapse? Do you think it's the end of the US dollar? We know it. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comment section. Again, this is our channel. I am not the single voice of the channel, so speak what you have to say down below in the comment section. I got some links down below for you to check out. Get trading over on Voyager and earn some interest on the crypto while you still can over on Celsius. You can also get trading over on Binance US. Got a link for the Bitcoin Visa Signature Rewards card that gets you 1.5% back for every purchase that you do with the card. And Bitcoin gets stacking on everyday purchases. That's the goal with this card. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, found it entertaining, educational, any way, shape, or form, please like and subscribe. I will see you guys 10 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow morning. Have a great day. Take care. Until next time, invest wisely. Bye.